How bad of a loss was this for the Cowboys against the Packers?
I thought it was a bad loss. So, listen, you got to win these kinds of games. Plain and simple. You're a better team. This team's spinning, going through it. You go in the Lambeau. And I told you guys last week I wasn't worried about a game like this. This is the kind of game the Cowboys will go up and stink up the place and lose. And they did exactly that. And that's why because I knew Green Bay was going to try to right the ship. And now you're the perfect team for them to say we right the ship against. Because everybody beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys were hot. You beat the Cowboys. Boy, everybody forget all the problems. And how the hell do you make Christian Watson look like Devontae Adams?
Oh.
It was amazing. You give him 200 yards rushing, back-to-back 200 yards rushing, and then you let them find Christian Watson to put them back on the map. I mean, for me, looking at that game, seeing it, that was a horrible loss for the Cowboys.
Mike, I'm sure you had a game or several that you were in control of the entire time. The game got away from you at the end. You wound up losing. Like, how long does a game like that sit with you? Do you cope with it?
There were not several. Let's not get into that. Maybe there were one or two. The one I can remember, a Washington game, and that was the game that Jimmy said after we lost the game. Remember, we fumbled a couple times in the end zone, and then they wouldn't let us eat. That's when Jimmy wouldn't let us eat. He's like, we're hungry, if you play better, and then we use that to carry over the rest of the season. So every time we're in a tight game, late in the game, I come in home and say, man, are we going to eat or not? What are we doing? Are we going to eat or not? If we're going to eat, let's get playing. You kind of use that as you went. But yeah, I remember a couple games like that. But this game right here, watch. End of the year, when this thing starts tallying up, and we're trying to jockey for positions, this is the game that we're going to turn to and say, man, we had just won that one. Maybe we had a chance at winning the division or something like that.
Explain to us whose fault the interceptions were, as you did on Twitter for one of them.
Well, okay, and it's so funny. I was at the hospital yesterday, so I didn't post it. But Dan Orlovsky and Ryan Clark, they did their touch screen, and they pulled that play up. And they used that play. And I said, okay, that's great. So I text Dan because I was watching with my mom, and that's what I said. I text Dan. I said, send me that play right now. I'm going to post that touch screen because it talks about it. Okay, and what happened on this play? It was okay. They disguised the coverage. It was really a Tampa 2. Cover 2. Where the linebacker in Tampa 2 always run right down the middle of the field, but they disguised it. They looked like they were in cover 2. They dropped one safety down in the middle and then backed up another safety. So it was still Tampa 2, except for the linebacker running down the middle of the field. He started high and ran down towards the middle of the field, and that's where the guy intercepted the ball. And what I was telling the people, this is a read route. When we ran it, if it was cover 2 and the center was open, then the receiver has to go and then take the middle of the field and run down the field. And then Dak throws that ball. If the center of the field is closed, cover 3 or anything else, then it becomes a square in. And you will see on this play when I posted where CeeDee Lamb was kind of confused. He was reading cover 2 because it looked like cover 2 in the way they disguised it. He was reading cover 2, but that safety dropped down. The other safety dropped out. He dropped in a robber's position. It was an inverted cover a Tampa 2. It was inverted Tampa 2. And you don't even see where CD kind of faked the square in where then Dak threw it, and then he went up the field. You can't do that. That ball was already thrown. He's reading CD, and CD had to get across his face at that time, and he didn't do it. It became an interception. They both have to read the same thing at the same time, and they just beat you with the coverage. They disguise the coverage, and they beat you with the coverage.
Are these communication things like alarming, or it's something small that happens to everybody?
Well, on that play, You know, it happens sometimes. It just happens where you just got beat. They out schemed you on that play, and they out schemed Dallas on that play. And without those guys being on the same page, it became an interception. That's not alarming. That was a tough read.
Okay.
I mean, you could I could have messed that up. Anybody could have messed that up because you never see anybody disguise cover to Tampa 2 that way, where the safety that was on the right top hash drops down in and plays the robber position. That's the guy that intercepted the ball. He played the robber position. So whenever you see that, we see the hats across his face. No matter what, you have to get across that face.
Michael Irvin here on The Fan. You've been worried about it since last year. You were worried about it against the Bears in Philadelphia, and it happened against the Packers, man. How does this can this run defense get fixed? Is this going to do them in?
Yeah, I told you guys, man, that this thing has to work in harmony, you know, and Tampa, I mean, the Packers, they did a great job in being patient. They were down 14, but didn't come off the run. Most teams down 14 will come off the run. Or we helped them out because we only ran the ball a few times when we were up 14. You see what I mean? We'll give them more opportunities with all these three and outs are not moving the ball and everything like that. I am worried about it. And I don't know if you can fix it. I don't know how you can fix it. You know, the one thing, they had a fast receiver that gave us problems. We tried to stack everybody in the line of scrimmage, and when you did that, they used that fast receiver, and he just got crazy and got wide open. I don't know if we can fix that. They worried me. It worried me last year when we were playing San Francisco. I told you it worries me this year, and it's continuing to worry me this season.
Do you actually get up on the ladder yourself to change your smoke alarms?
Hell no. Are you crazy?
I thought I heard one in the background. I thought I heard a smoke
alarm.
Right.
And when they come, they'll come and change them. I ain't changing.
How are you going to sleep? How you no one? You cannot be in the house all day with that alarm going off.
Unless it's in the East Wing.
I have no issue with it whatsoever. I ain't getting up here. My ceilings are way up there. That mean way up there. I'm not getting up there changing nothing.
Are you gonna?
It's so funny. You know what? Let me tell you. I promise you guys. Once I get my lights and ceilings are so high, you know those lights that's in the ceiling recessed. I had a guy come out one day. One time I said, "Man, I'm gonna change all my lights in the ceiling." A few went out. I said, "Let's change all the lights. How much?" This joker quoted me $40,000. I said, "Dude, come on, man.
$40,000?
Get your butt up here and say $40,000 to change, I don't know, 30 lights in my ceiling." I said, "Man, y'all got to stop coming in these gates with numbers like this. Come on, dude.
Mike,
stop it.
Mike, you got to start saying grounds like Jerry dropped on us yesterday. We can't ask you about Christmas lights because we know you won't splurge for them. But Jerry said, yeah, they've been on my grounds for a while. So that's how we know you made it, upper echelon, grounds.
I'll change your lights, Mike, for $38,000, by the way. I'll undercut this guy.
Right, man. Listen, man. And you know what? I went, that's the first, now you asked me about changing batteries. That's the first time, I promise you, that's the first time I ever did that. I said, what, man? I said, man, get out of here. I went to Home Depot, and they told me, they gave me this thing that you can put a bulb on, you go up there and sponge on the light, and you unscrew it, and then you screw one. Man, I said, this is ridiculous. This is what he was going to do. I changed out the light, and it cost me $79. $79. I said, this is ridiculous, man. Everybody tried that, man, when they come in the neighborhood. Every time they come in the neighborhood, they try to beat you.
Michael Irvin, playmaker on The Fan. I know that you talked to Justin Jefferson. We know that you picked Kirk Cousins for MVP. They only have one loss. Cowboys have them next. How big of a problem is who does Jefferson remind you of? Is he the next, even over guys like Jamar Chase and others?
Yeah, I love the kid. I love his competitive spirit. You know, I told you, I already told you guys, you know, that my coach, one of the coaches that recruited me way back in high school, you know, and he still trains wide receivers. And he was training Justin Jefferson in Jamar Chase. And he and I talk every year about receivers and receivers he trained. And he said to me, he said, Michael, in all my years, and all this, I almost followed this guy to Indiana University and then LSU. His name is Jerry Sullivan. He said, all my years of coaching wide receivers, he had me at Indiana University. It's the first camp I went to coming out of the ghetto. Where I told you guys they'd sent me to this camp, and then we had to come back and scrape the wallpapers off all of their hotels in Fort Lauderdale and Miami to pay for it. It was the worst job in the world. They'll never get me like that again. I sat at the pay. It take you could be scraping for hours and you just got a little spot clean. I was like, oh my God, why did we make this deal? It was the worst deal in the world. But it's the first time we ever got out of the ghetto. So I had to make the deal to go to Indiana. But he told me when he called me, he said, Michael, listen. He said, all my years since you, I've never had anybody as competitive as you. He said, this guy, Justin Jefferson, he's as competitive as you. He called me to tell me this before Justin Jefferson got anywhere in the league. And that's why I've been looking for him and waiting on him for, and couldn't wait to see what he does. And that play the other day was insane. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to see the Cowboys have some of. Some of that ain't no damn way I am going to lose this game. I want to see somebody have some of that in them because that's what Justin Jefferson has. We went up here. How did he get that football? The football didn't even look like it was catchable. It was catchable. It didn't even look catchable. But his spirit, his competitiveness, his ain't no way I'm losing this game, went up and got that football, and we need some of them. Ain't no way I'm losing this game, guys.
Best catch ever?
I think it was. It's funny because I'm going to reach out. I want to reach out to him in Odell and have a conversation about that. Now, when you look at the situation, Odell, I think they still lost that game, but it was just an incredible game. Catch by Odell. This catch on fourth down, on 4th and 18, with the situation around it, makes this, I think, the greatest catch ever.
Welcome back from Germany, brother. Hope your mother is doing better from all the Tolos. We'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely, my brother. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the prayers, man. But listen, that thing in Germany, it's just between us now. They're going to play a game again. They're going to do another game in Germany. Maybe, just me, maybe even 2 next year. That's how crazy that was.